This is my math homework number 15, Thursday. For the first one, it says find the product. 2.5 times 0.08. So it'll be 2 and 5 tenths times 8 hundredths. We're just going to imagine it's going to be 25 times 8, as we always do. And we're just going to multiply 25 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40, carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, add 4 makes 20. So we know it's going to be 200. However, there's going to be 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal. So we must do the same thing. At this point, you can just write 2 tenths because these zeros don't really matter. So the answer is 2 tenths for number 1. For the second one, it says simplify the fraction. 16/24. To simplify a fraction, you have to divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest number that they can both be divisible by. So I know that 8 will work. The reason why I want to do 8 is I know that 16 divided by 8 is 2, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. That's the highest one. If I do 2, it will work, but it's not the highest one. If I do 4, 4 would also work, and then it is 8. You want to always choose the highest one for simplifying the fraction. If you do divide it by 2, you would have to keep on doing it until you get to 2/3. But if you do divide by 8, you finish in one move. On the next one, it says change the improper fraction to a mixed number. It's an improper fraction because it's the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So the way you would read it is 15 divided by 4. So all we need to do is do 15 divided by 4. 4 can go into 15 3 times because 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract that, will give us 3. At this point, we're not trying to find a decimal, so we only need to do decimal 0. All we need to do is write 3 wholes with 3 left out of 4. So it'll be 3 and 3/4. That's called a mixed number. It's made up of a whole number and a fraction. That's why it's called a mixed number. For the next one, it says find the quotient. We need to move this guy over to make it 3. We need to move this guy over to make it 61.2. We can just do our division. 3 can go in 6 twice. That would be 6. Subtract that. Drop down the 1. 3 cannot go into 1, so you have to put a 0 up top. Then drop down the 2. That makes it 12. We can go into it 4 times perfectly. So we are finished with this. You have 1 digit behind the decimal. So we need to put 1 digit behind the decimal. So the answer, the quotient will be 20 and 4 tenths. For the next one, it says compare using greater than, less than, or equal symbols. They both have 5 holes and 5 holes. This is 334. If we wanted to, we can add a 0. And this is 330 thousandths. Obviously, 334 thousandths is bigger than 330 thousandths. For the fraction, we must make them the same denominator. So what we can do is change the 6 into a 12. All you have to do is multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. That would make it into 10 12ths. So that way, now you compare 10 12ths and 8 12ths. Obviously, 10 12ths is greater than 8 12ths. So to compare fractions, you have to make sure that the denominators are the same. So 12 12, 6 6, or whatever it is. In this case, we made them both 12 12 so that this guy can stay the same. Move along, it says find the difference. So you have the models to help you out right there. I prefer just to do it with standard algorithm. Here's 2 and 1/3 minus 1 and 5/6. When we subtract fractions, we must have the denominators the same. In this case, it's not the same, so we have to make them the same first. So we can multiply this by 2 and do the same thing on top. That changes it into 2 6. So now we know that 1/3 is the same thing as 2 6. So I'm just going to erase the 1/3, and instead of the 1/3, I'm just going to write 2 6 because they're equivalent. That means that they're the same. They're just written differently. There you go. Now let's go and subtract. 2 6 minus 5 6. I can't take 2 away from 5. So I go to the 2, borrow the 1 from it. The 1 is going to be converted into 6 out of 6. Because 6 out of 6 makes 1 whole. Then it becomes 8 6. Because 2 plus 6 makes 8. And that's an improper fraction. Now 8 6 minus 5 6 is 3 6. And then of course 1 minus 1 is 0 wholes. And 3 6 can be simplified because 3 6 is really 1/2. The reason why is you can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So the answer is just 1/2. For these, I'm going to do the same. It says find the difference. So here's 5 and 10/12 minus 4 and 7/8. Oh, the first thing you need to do is make them the same denominator. So what they both have in common is the number 24. Because you think about it, you could do times 2 here to make it 24 and times 2. So that way it becomes 20 24ths. For the bottom one, you could do times 3 because 8 times 3 is 24. And you could do 7 times 3 up top to make it 21. So now let's go and rewrite this whole entire thing so it looks clean. But it would be 5 and 20 24ths minus 4 and 21 24ths. There we go. Unfortunately, we cannot do 20 minus 21. We don't have enough. So I have to go to this whole number, change it to a 4, take the 1 from it, and then it becomes 24 out of 24, which is a whole. That gives us 44 out of 24. Now we can subtract. I know that 44 minus 21 will be 23 24th. Because 44 minus 21 is 23. And of course 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer is going to be 23 24th for that one. For the second one is 4 and 3/10 minus 2 and 5/6. They have to be the same. So we have to change them to a fraction of the same. I think we should use 30. The reason why we can do 30 is 10 times 3 makes 30. And you can do the same thing up top, and that makes it 9/30. And then for this one, we can multiply it by 5, because 6 times 5 is 30. And do the same thing up top, that makes it 25/30. So now let's go and rewrite this and make it look clean. It was 4, and now it's 9/30 minus 2 and 25/30. Unfortunately, again, we cannot do 9 minus 25. So you have to go from 4, borrow 1. That 1 becomes 30 out of 30 to make 39 out of 30. Now we can subtract 39 minus 25. That will give us 14 out of 30. And then 3 minus 2 is 1. An extra step that you can take is you can simplify this by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. That way it will be 7/15. So the answer is going to be 1 and 7/15 for the bottom one.